Ni hao. I'm Wally De Doncker. I'm the writer of the book Missing Herds, and I want to tell you something about it. Now, I'm speaking to you in English. This is not my native language. My native language is Flemish, Dutch. When I want to say something like ni hao to you in Flemish, I would say dag allemaal. If I would say see your papa, your daddy, I would say dag papa. When I would see your mother, I would say dag mama. So we talk in different languages, but the books are books for everyone in the world. So Missing Herds is based on my own experiences. My second granddaughter, Ditte, came to me because her mother had to travel to the USA for a reading, and so she would stay with me, with her grandfather. And of course she was sad that she would have to miss her mother for almost a week, but she was also glad to be with me because I cook her favorite dishes, and we are watching photos together, we are watching videos together. But Ditte was also sad about missing her grandmother because my wife died a few years ago, and Ditte still misses her grandmother, of course, and when she is with me, maybe even more. But nevertheless, we have a good time together and we play things, and okay. So the book Missing Herds goes about a Chinese girl. I changed the setting from Europe to China. Yena is also staying with her grandparents because her mother has business travel to Europe, and so Yena is staying with her grandmother. She has a good time, but still she is missing her mother and also her father. Something happened with her father. He is not there. I don't want to tell you what is happening with the father because, okay, you have to read the book for this, and this is also special. So the things in the book related to my life going further because Granddad and Yena are watching photos, and these photos are also related to me. Yena sees her father climbing in trees, and that was also something I did as a child, was one of my favorite things. But also they are watching photos of the father is reading when he was a child. Okay, he was taking care for animals, and I have to say, when I was a child, we got a club of children, and the aim of that club was taking care of the animals in the neighborhood. So you see, many things in the books you will see and read are related to my life. At the end of the book you see also that Yena and her mother are flying, and this is also something what happened to me when I was a child. I was dreaming a lot about flying, and I can remember one dream that I was flying in my dreams, and I saw all the houses under me, and this was very special. And so it also happened to me as an adult, but as a child I got many times these dreams. So I was almost thinking that I was a bird. In the book you will see also that Yena and her mother see an overview of Europe, and this of course has to do with me also because I live in Brussels. Maybe it's the capital of Europe, and okay, this is also important to me. So it was a challenge for me to change the setting from Europe to China, and you have to think in another way, a bit vice versa, but I like it very much. The illustrator of the book is Liu Hao, and I have to say I'm very happy with his illustrations. I know Liu Hao also from his books in Belgium. Different books are translated to Dutch, Flemish. The art books about Monet, Camille Monet, the wife of Monet, the parasol, something like that, and also Van Gogh. And these are very special books, and so he's also known in Europe. Now, this book, Missing Hearts, I have to say, when I saw the illustrations of him, he really understands my story, and this is very important, that the illustrator and the author have a good, cooperation, that they know each other's story very well, and I'm very happy that he did this. He makes it possible for children to understand even better my story. He enriched my story. And it is an international cooperation. I'm a European, a Belgian, and Li Hao is a Chinese illustrator. And I also experienced this in my other books, that we can enrich, the international cooperation enrich very much the stories. And it's very special to do this. I like his compositions and also how he uses his colors. This is, so I'm very happy, and we made a special book, I think, and I hope it will be also in Europe, of course, to read, but first it is in China. It's first for you, for the Chinese readers. You can imagine how important you are for me. I already have 10 books in Chinese, and many of the books are also related to my life, and I want to present a few books in China. This was my first book in China in 2002. It's I Wish I Were a Doll, or I Wish I Were a Puppet, and it's about an old man. He is almost 100 years old. He was a good friend of me. He lived in my village, and so he was a bit lonely and a bit sad about the people around him, because they didn't watch to him anymore. They didn't say hello to him anymore because he was so old. And there were very good reviews and critics about this book in China. So that was the first book. Then another book, the second book, was a book directly in Chinese. I wrote this book in English, and it's about myself. Billy is myself as a child. My father got a contracting firm to break off houses and old factories, and I could join him before he would break off the houses and the factories. I could join him, and for me it was a bit like a playground, and that's what you see here in this book. The factory is almost a playground for Billy, but there is a very good relationship between grandfather, the father, and Billy, the grandson, and you will see the cooperation with the generations is very important. I think also for China this is important. It got very good reviews, many things happening with this book, and it's already translated in Dutch, it is translated in English, in Arabic, in Indonesian, and I'm very happy that this book travels around the world. And I'm also surprised that the story of my life, that this happens to me. I'm very happy about this. Another book is also very special to me. That's Neon and the Boy, and it's the publisher here asked me to write a book about a Chinese traditional story, and I chose the story of Neon, the New Year's monster, who attacks the villages in China. But I changed many things in that story, so I give the monster Neon emotions. So I explain why the monster does this terrible things sometimes. And also in the traditional story there is an old man, and he tells the villagers what to do to avoid the attack of the monster. And I was thinking, how does this man know this? And you will see that the monster and the old man met each other in their childhood, and this is also very important. Me and the Boy. So there are also my classic books translated to Chinese. One of the most important one is Forgetful Grandpa, and so it goes about my youngest daughter and her grandfather. They got a very good relationship with each other, but grandpa has to go to the elderly house because he forgets a lot. And he has here a doll, a puppet, and it's a puppet with holes in it. And this was the puppet where I played with because it was a puppet who was on the couch of my own grandmother. You see the links to my own life. Another book is this book. Maybe it has also to do with missing herds, because this is about a bird who changes in a fish, and the fish changes in a bird, but they still think like they were before. So the bird is thinking like a fish, and the fish is thinking like a bird. And I told you about the dream about flying. I think I also have this in me. Now I read that the ancient Greeks, an old civilization here in Europe, they thought also that the birds changed in fishes during winter, and then in spring they came back as birds. So this was also special to read this to me. So I always thought as a child, if I could change in something else, I would change in a bird, because I like flying, and I still do. Another book is also about, it starts somewhere, it's about the animals in my garden. I have a lot of animals. I have a cat, I have a dog, I have sheep, I have goats, and a bit like a small farm, let's say. And one day there was a big storm, a tornado, and so the animals are all afraid of this, and they start to talk about this, how this comes. And then another storm comes. It all happened to me, and you have to read this in the book. I see it a bit as the start of a climate change. Another book is about a pupil of my class. I was also a teacher 20 years ago in a primary school, and I wrote a book about Kjelle. My nephews are wolves is the title in English, and it's a boy. He came to school and he got bruises on his arms, burns on his hands, and there was something happening to him, but he never told me what happened. And so one day he started to draw what was happening with me, and this is what I tell in the book. Very special book, and I saw this was one of the books of the top 100 in China, so I'm very happy about this. Another book is also about my eldest grandson, Lars, and he comes helping me at the small farm, let's say, with the animals. And one day, it was in summer, the hottest day in summer, and he saw his shadow, and he started to jump on his shadow. And there is where the book starts, because the shadow says, "Ow!" and starts to talk. And then Lars is a very, very curious boy, and he started to ask questions to his shadow. And so this is also a book, you have to read it in Chinese. But I can tell you a lot more about my work, but yes, many things are related to my life, and that is how it is in my books. And I'm somebody, I think I'm very active and try to change things in the world, especially in my surroundings. And I started as a boy to have to take care for the animals. When I was 16, 17 years, I started here in my village with youth movement, because the children in my village didn't have a place to play, and so I did it with friends. And this youth movement still exists, so I'm very happy that I'm involved with EBI. EBI is an organization, a world organization, sorry, who tries to promote a very good literature, to promote literacy for children, And so this was also important to me, and the motivation for IBI was also okay, that I wanted to have that the children's rights would be respected. And I can remember, let's say, a country like Afghanistan, it's almost forbidden, prohibited for girls to read. So this is something that's against my heart, and that's why sometimes I wanted to change things. So I'm very happy I could talk to you through the screen, and I hope you enjoy my book Missing Hertz, and I hope I can see you in China. Unfortunately, because of the corona, also in Europe and in China, I couldn't come for the last 2-3 years, but I hope to be back next year maybe, or maybe this year, you never know, and to see you and to read aloud to you. So have a nice time and all good wishes. Bye bye.